completely destroyed most of her decks, but luckily many important parts of the ship are safe because they've been taken away for restoration. Police are looking into whether the fire was started deliberately and are analysing CCTV images believed to show people in the area shortly before the fire started. Well, John Brain is at Greenwich now. John.
Sophie, the Cutty Sark has survived since midway through the 19th century. It survived perilous voyages to Australia and China. But will it be able to survive a fire here on dry land in the 21st century? History in flames. This mobile phone footage was taken in the early hours of the morning as fire engulfed one of the world's most famous ships. Within 4 minutes of receiving the emergency call, fire crews were battling to save the Cutty Sark. It was a desperate operation, with literally millions of pounds at stake. With reports there were gas cylinders on board, the police evacuated nearby houses. Residents scrambled outside, grabbing what clothes they could.
There was a big bang. We went outside and it was just on fire. Flames going about 20 feet in the air.
And you could just see the whole length of the ship was just completely on fire, flames like 20, 30 feet in the air, and the wind was picking it up quite a lot as well, and so you're worried about how far, whether that fire would be able to spread onto the nearby pubs and into the surrounding flats.
By 9 o'clock this morning, the fire was out, leaving behind what appeared to be a scene of devastation. An investigation is now underway into the cause. The possibility of arson hasn't been ruled out.
There is indication that there were people in the area at the time when the fire initially started. That's come from the local borough CCTV. There's no indication at this stage that the people that are on that CCTV footage are actually involved in the incident, but may merely be witnesses.
The Cutty Sark was partway through a £25 million restoration project. Fortunately, much of the ship, including the mast and figurehead, had temporarily been removed. Experts say the damage may not be as bad as initially thought.
The hull was basically a very empty structure, and we're hopeful that it's just the temporary works that we've lost at this stage. Obviously, it's a significant cost to us, but we hope that the hull will be salvageable.
And with the firefighting operation having been completed, work will begin almost immediately on attempting to save a crucial part of Britain's heritage. Well, don't be fooled by what you can see behind me. That's just the temporary structure put up for the restoration. The big key, the big question is, what are the conditions below that on the decks themselves? Well, that's what the experts will be trying to find out during the course of today. Sophie.
John, thank you very much. Well, when it comes to examples of Britain's maritime heritage, they don't come much more important than the Cutty Sark. This is her, painted in her heyday in the 19th century when she was used to transport tea from China to Britain. She's one of the last surviving tea clippers. She was built in 1869, and after decades of service, the Cutty Sark was towed to Greenwich in 1954 and placed in a specially constructed dry dock. Since then, millions have been to visit her. But as we've heard, she's been closed to visitors for the past year while major restoration work was carried out. Luckily, some of the ship's treasures are in museums at the moment. Daniel Bircher has been to see what's been saved.
Well, the Cutty Sark has actually been undergoing a long-term restoration project. That started last November. This warehouse is one of the locations, and behind me they're working on one of the lifeboats. Now, because of this work, there is at least some good news in this story, and that is that a lot of the important pieces had been taken off the vessel before this fire took hold. For example, this is one of the original hull beams. That's a piece of teak from 1869. I'm joined now by Shirley Eaton, who's the collections officer for the Trust. Are you confident that enough pieces have been saved, that the Cutty Sark can be put together in her original form?
Yes, definitely. At least 50% of the hull planks have already come off of the ship, as well as a large percentage of the deck planking.
This is obviously going to make your work a great deal more difficult, but you seem to retain some sort of optimism.
Yes, this is definitely a huge setback for us, but we have a very large professional team who will help us get this all back on track. Yeah.
Shirley, thank you very much. And of course, as well as the pieces that have been saved at this warehouse, the rigging, the mast, the spars have been kept at the dockyard at Chatham. So they are pretty confident they can put the Cutty Sark back together, but that will cost a great deal of money.
Daniel Bircher there. Now, who should get priority when it comes to